Today, you might be well aware that we are going to initiate the series of Dhamma talk based on the Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta. Since this Dhamma talk is going to be focused upon this sutta, we thought that it is proper that we go through the contents of this sutta to the depth of their meanings, surface level as well as hidden, and to explain the inbred teachings of the Buddha as much as possible and permitting to our knowledge on the Dhamma which is explained in the sutta. Now, there are two types of suttas called Mettā Suttas in the Sutta Pitaka. Now, Sutta Pitaka has 5 Nikayas: Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, long length discourses, middle length discourses, Saṅyutta Nikaya, concise suttas, and Anguttara Nikaya, kindred sayings, and Khuddaka Nikaya, which contains 18 books. Now, in the Khuddaka Nikaya, there is a book called Sutta Nipāta. In this book, we find this Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta. Originally, it was named Mettā Sutta, but later, to separate this sutta from the other sutta in the Sutta Pitaka, the compilers of the Tripitaka must have added the first word of the sutta, which is Karaṇīya, into Metta. That is why we find this word Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta. Now, prior to explain the background behind this sutta, it is better we find the other sutta, the Mettā Nisaṅsa Sutta, which explains the benefits of the metta. This sutta is to be found in Anguttara Nikaya, in the book of 11s. And in this sutta, we can find there are 11 benefits that the Buddha explains for whosoever develops a kind of unconditional friendliness towards the world. Now, this metta to be developed gradually from yourself to the exterior world. It is to begin from you. It is to begin with you. May I be well and happy. Easy for you. But can you genuinely be happy about you? Can you genuinely be contented with you, about yourself? Now, if you are carrying on regrets, worries about yourself, about your behavior, about your misdeeds of your past, you cannot even radiate metta to yourself. You have to be clear yourself completely out of them to radiate to yourself these beautiful thoughts of be well, be happy. These are beautiful thoughts. These beautiful thoughts you can radiate to yourself when you have nothing garbage within you. What are the garbage? Regrets. Regrets are the biggest garbage that we are carrying on. About our own mishaps, about our own misdeeds. The things we did and the things we said in the past, disturbing us. When you are being disturbed by them, you cannot even radiate metta to yourself. Then what can you do to get rid of them? It is to accept that you are a human being. The nature of the human beings is to make mistakes. I learn my mistakes and I won't do them again. Accept them, forgive yourself and forget them. Get rid of them, let go. Be free from them. When you are free from your own mishappenings, misdeeds, belong to past, then you are free to say, may I be well and happy. So before the metta to do, before the metta to practice, you have to develop a kind of purity within you by letting go of your mishappenings, misdeeds of your past. And then you can radiate metta to your beloved ones, friendly ones, those who are dear to you. And even in them, if there are misdeeds, if the words they said, if the deeds they done disturbing you, again forgive them and forget them. Let go of them. Bring their good qualities to your mind. Bring their good memories to your mind and then radiate metta. Otherwise, your metta has no power because that metta has no genuinity. In the corner of your mind, those negative memories are disturbing you. So it is so important, it is very important for you to have a pure ideas about others, about the people who are close to you prior to your radiating metta. So the second group of people who are to receive your metta are the ones who are close to you, beloved to you. Then the third category are the people who are unknown to you or less known to you. And the fourth category are the people who are unfriendly to you, who have some grudgings, some misunderstandings, or who can be irritating, disturbing you in your workplace, in your neighborhood, sometimes even in your family, and radiate metta towards them. Very difficult. You can just say, okay, may they be well and happy, but are you genuine in your thoughts? When you have no honesty in your radiation of metta towards them, you will not gain the best results out of them. You won't be benefited by it. So it is important to learn how to radiate metta to those who are considered as your enemies. There are 3 steps to be taken. Prior to radiate metta to those people who are unfriendly to you, these steps are: first, we have to understand, if somebody has a certain negative connection with you, if somebody is continuously disturbing you, troubling you, worrying you, giving you all sorts of troubles, remember, you must have created this negative relationship with that person, either in your past life or in one of the lives in your samsaric cycle. If there is no such a karmic link between you and them, there is no possibility for anyone to disturb you continuously. There must be some negative karmic bondage with you and them. This negative karmic link is the reason for them to be disturbing you repeatedly. So you have done something to disturb them in your past lives, and that's why they are paying you back. They are giving you back the same disturbances. So how to get rid of them? Ask forgiveness. First step. Ask forgiveness. Whatever I have done to you in my past, either known to me or unknown to me, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Genuinely ask that forgiveness. And then forgive them, whatever you are doing. I do not harbor any ill will against you. I do not keep any grudgings against you. Please forgive me. Please forgive. I forgive you. First you ask the forgiveness, then you give the forgiveness, you grant the forgiveness. Then radiate metta, may you be well and happy. That metta can transform them. That metta can gradually evaporate, reduce that strong bondage made out of some negative emotions. There will be positive results. Akaliko, without being delayed, you will see these positive results, which is created by your own radiation of metta. So therefore, metta is so important to continue to develop, continue to practice within your hearts, to create such a positive, vibrating energy around. And there is no limit. So ultimately, after the ones who are unfriendly to you, you can radiate to all beings, visible, invisible, near, far away, known, unknown, in all the directions throughout the world. May they be well and happy. So if somebody practice this metta continuously, repeatedly, and become part of it, Buddha says he can expect 11 results. 11 results here and now. In this life itself, he will see these 11 results. Sandittiko. In this life itself, he will experience the results of his metta. The first one. This one is so soon to receive. Within few days, he will experience this sukhang supati. He will sleep well. No difficulties in falling asleep. Sukhang pati bujjati. And no difficulty in waking up. In between, napapakang supinang passati. He will not see dangerous, fearful, disturbing dreams. Supinang, dreams. He won't see such dreams. Manusanang piyo hoti. He will be friendly to all human beings. Amanusanam piyo hoti. He will be friendly even to those non-human beings. Devata rakhanti. He will be protected by the divine beings. The positive energies is parallel with his positive energy. So naturally, the positive energies around him will protect him. The people go to those divine beings asking their protection. But do you think if their energy and your energy is not parallel, if they are clashing, can they reach you? Can they come close to you and protect you? Impossible. Metta in your heart makes you parallel with the divine beings. Therefore, the friendliness of the divine beings will be always with you, and their protection is with you. Nasa giva visangva sattangva kamati. Again, protection from weapon, fire, and poison. Tuatang chittang samadhiyati. If you want to meditate, before the meditation, if you do some metta, you will see the results very fast. The results are very fast. Your mind getting concentrated faster than before. With the metta, mind gets tuatang, fast. Samadhiyati, the concentration. You will achieve that concentration faster with the metta. Tuatang, chittang, samadhiyati. Mukhavanno vippasidati. The facial expression becomes so pleasant. This is the reason for people to be born as pleasant, with pleasant countenances. What do we call becoming a pleasant appearance for others, pleasant look for others? Because the circulation of the blood is the reason behind this living, lively countenance. And the blood, the purity or impurity of the blood matters. to make your appearance, to make it pleasant or unpleasant to them. If you are carrying anger, hatred, jealousy, those evil thoughts within you, those evil thoughts pollute your own blood circulation, and your appearance make uglier to others, unpleasant to others. You cannot blame others if you are unpleasant to them. It is your own fault. Your own blood has become unpleasant, so your appearance has become unpleasant. With metta, your blood becomes pleasant. Your appearance becomes pleasant. Your blood has been purified with metta. Mukhavanno vipassudati. You will have a pleasant countenance, pleasant appearance for others. Asam mulho kalang karoti, when we are getting closer and closer to the death. This is the most important necessity that we have to receive, we have to achieve, to keep, to maintain a pleasant mentality, so that we will not die confused, mad, angered, with the losing our common sense. We will not die like that. We will die pleasantly. We will die with a conscious awareness. We will not lose our mind when we are getting into the moment of death. A miracle of metta. So it is very important, very significant. If we are getting closer and closer to our departure, it is better that we practice metta continuously, repeatedly, to make sure that we don't die confused. Because if you die confused, the rebirth can be anywhere. The rebirth won't be in accordance with your good deeds that you performed while you were living. Because you died confused. Your mind can be anything. Your mind can be evil, mad. So to make sure that your last thought moment of your in this life is pleasant, it is better we become familiar with metta. And the next one also related to the death. Buddha says, Brahma loku pago hoti. If you die with metta, if you have that power of metta within you when you die, Brahma loku pago hoti. Your rebirth, bound to be one of the Brahma realms. Rupa Vachara Brahma realms, fine material Brahma realms. Brahma realm is the destination for someone who continuously practice metta and become familiar with the metta and who has that power of metta. But remember, you have to develop metta in such a genuine manner. As I explained to you before, even you cannot radiate metta to yourself if you are carrying on your past regrets, worries, sad and bad memories within you. Get rid of them. Forgive and forget them. Understand, forgive and forget them before you radiate metta even to yourself. It is very important. Or else it is not a genuine radiation. You won't get the results. Now, this is the Buddha's teaching. If you don't get results, it is not that the Buddha's teaching is wrong, but your practice is wrong. If you cannot evaporate a dark and negative bondage with one of your enemies with metta, because it is you are practicing wrong. You forgot to ask give forgiveness, and then radiate metta. So if you practice this genuinely, these 11 beautiful benefits are yours. They are your benefits. They are your results. Here and now, until the moment of death, you will experience those benefits out of metta. So this is the Metta Anisansa Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. You can find this same sutta in the overnight chanting book. It is there. Then the sutta that we are going to explain in about 4 to 5 talks in this talk series on Saturdays. Before I get into the sutta, I would like to explain something about this metta more. Metta, translated into English, we say unconditional love. Unconditional love is metta. What is this unconditional love? Unconditional indicates the differences of the other factor. The differences in the sense whether they do, say, or work in the manner that we prefer or not. Whether the others are behaving in the manner that we like or not. Without creating any conditions upon them. Whether even they are behaving in a manner that we don't like, that we hate, that we disgust, still we can radiate our love, our friendliness towards them. That is this unconditional love. Now, conditional love, in Pali it is called pema. Now, for conditional love, what the Buddha says is pemato jayati soko, pemato jayati bhayang. For the conditional love, pema, Buddha says, a cause for the fear to arise, for the sadness to arise, suffering to arise. Soko bhayang. Sadness and the fear arise by the conditional love. Now, in one of the, as I remember, it is 76 or 7, Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha says, the greatest sadness, greatest suffering happened to us from the people we love, from the people who are dear to us. The greatest sadness happens. Greatest suffering is created. Not from the enemies, not from the unknown, not from anybody else, but the people we love, but the people we are dear to them, dear to. People who are close to us. they create the greatest sadness in us. When Buddha said this, many people rejected it. Then Buddha asked them back, what would happen to the people who are so dear and beloved to you, close to you? What happened if something happened to them? If they become sick? If they, for unfortunate reason, if they die before you, what would happen? What kind of suffering you have to go through? You have to go through the greatest suffering in the world. Sometimes you don't care whatever happens to you, but if something happens to your children, to your family, you cannot tolerate it. You cannot accept it. And you experience the greatest suffering in the world. So, Paññā, this conditional love, the love based on conditions, in the Buddha's eyes, a cause for fear, fear of losing them, fear of their changes, fear of missing them, fear of them not going to the destination you expect them to go. This is one of the greatest fear that the parents have, that their children are not reaching the goals that the parents want them to go. It is always fear and the sadness. Conditional love, in the Buddha's eyes, a cause only for fear and sadness. But unconditional love, it is free of all those fear, worries, sadness, depression, stress. Because whatever happens around doesn't matter. You radiate metta. It doesn't depend whether others behaving as you wish or not. Unconditionally you love them. Such a love cannot be disturbed, cannot be altered by any other changing in the environment, changing in the people around you. So metta is that unconditional love. And metta and mitta. Mitta is the friend. Both of them are brought out or produced, coined from the same root. So metta can be translated as friendliness, unconditional, infinite friendliness. So metta can be translated as unconditional love, compassionate love, loving kindness, and also unconditional friendliness. One of the famous scholars, Western monk, he said metta is the goodwill. Thanissaro bhikkhu. This scholar monk says metta is the goodwill that you have towards others. Anyway, this Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta explains how to develop this metta within us. But when you go through the sutta in the future, in this series of talks, we will go deeply into those hidden dhammas in the sutta you can find that Metta Sutta or Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta is not all about metta. It is related to the practice also. How to cultivate, how to develop on the practice is also explained beautifully in this sutta. This sutta was uttered to those 500 monks who came to see him while the Buddha was about to begin his rains retreat in the Jetavānārāma monastery. So Buddha gave them suitable meditation objects, kammatthana, the work field or work object, workplace of meditation, kammatthana, and they left for Himalayas. They found this place, beautiful forest, ancient trees are there, big trees are there, suitable to sit underneath and meditate. And there is a village. People were ready to help these monks. When these monks went to the village to see whether these people can feed them in these 3 months of raining, the people were willing to accept them. They said, "Bhantes, please reside here. We will take care of you during these months." So everything is suitable for their meditation. And they sat down underneath the trees and start practicing. And they didn't know there are divine beings. Those deities in the trees and their families are there. When the monks sat down underneath their trees, those deities could not stay on their houses, on the trees, because the morality, the spirituality, the virtues of the monks so much, their power is so much, those deities couldn't exist above them. So they had to come down. And those deities, devatas, were patient. Okay, these are very good monks. Let them stay. They thought these monks might leave. After 1 or 2 days, they will leave this place. But it is not happening. The monks are established there. They are going to stay continuously. And the deities understood they must do something to get rid of these monks. Yeah. It is like somebody powerful come to your house. When they come to your house, you give them the best of your lodgings. Your beds are given to them. Your rooms are given to them. And you are gone. You take your sleep in the couch, in the veranda, outside the house. For 2-3 days, you are all right with them. But after some time, you need your house back, your room back, your bed back. And you will do something to get rid of them. And these deities, just like you, followed the same way. They are planning to get rid of these monks. And they decided, at night, we will create some fearful images, skeletons flying in the sky. At night, deep in the forest, so dark, suddenly a skeleton appears in front of these monks. A fearful faces, demon-like faces appear in front of them. And suddenly they smell such a strong, bad smell. So likewise, and also there are sounds, fearful sounds coming from nowhere. And these monks were so afraid. They could not concentrate. They could not meditate. They could not concentrate upon the object of meditation that the Buddha asked them to concentrate. And their minds were so disturbed. and they went pale. They lost their concentration. They lost weight. But nobody is telling the other. No one is telling anyone else the difficulties they are going through. Only after some time, they all found everybody is suffering, everybody is having a bad time because of this. And they decided that this place is not a suitable place for them to meditate. It is better to leave. It is better to go back to the Buddha. So in the midst of the rains retreat, they departed from that place and went to see the Buddha. And the Buddha asked them, why are you doing this? Why did you travel during these rains? I have very clearly explained to you not to travel. Why did you do that? Then these monks explained to the Buddha the reason of their breaking of the Vasana retreat, rains retreat, and to come like this. Buddha said, no, you have to go back. You have to go back to that original place. That is your place for meditation. That is your place for enlightenment. You can be enlightened there. And Buddha taught them to be strong in their practice and to win back the friendliness of the divine beings who tormented them, explaining them the method of practicing, the continuous effort on the practice, and to gain back the confidence, the devotion, the friendliness of those divine beings. Teaching these factors, Buddha taught the Sutta Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta. As I said you before, it was named Mettā Sutta earlier, but I think to separate from this sutta from the other Mettā Sutta, the scholars or those monks who compiled Tipitaka must have add the first word Karaṇīya to this Metta and created this name Karaṇīya Mettā Sutta. Now, we don't have time to explain the Dhamma within them, but we have to remember this sutta contains 10 verses and 3 sections. These 3 sections we will be explaining that they contain these triple steps of practice, or the triple steps towards Nibbana: Sīla, Samādhi, Paññā. Sīla, the moral background, the discipline that one has to adopt and cultivate within. And that discipline helps them to have a strong concentration. When somebody is disciplined and has a strong concentration within him, his wisdom will grow. His wisdom can be developed. Sīla, Samādhi, Paññā is explained, the method of practicing, in this sutta. So this sutta is not just about developing metta, but about also developing the trisikshas, Sīla, Samādhi, Paññā, the triple practices for anyone who aspire to be enlightened. Yeah. So we cannot confine this sutta only for metta. It is relevant for the practice of someone who is in the path towards Nibbana. Yeah. So it is what we are going to explain in our future talks. So today what I explained to you is about metta, the loving kindness, unconditional love, and the separation between the conditional love and the unconditional love. Now if somebody develops this unconditional love, He can develop them in two manners. One way is adopting these thoughts of metta. May I be well and happy. May my beloved ones be well and happy. May the people who are unknown to me be well and happy. May those who are unfriendly to me be well and happy. And may all beings be well and happy. So step by step, you develop with the adoption of these thoughts. You develop that ability, you develop this energy of friendliness from yourself to others gradually. This is one of the methods to develop metta. The other method is through vipassana. Yeah. Remember, metta is used in Buddhism in many places. In the 4 sublime qualities, 4 Brahma Viharas, Buddha explains metta in the first place. Buddha begins with metta. Metta, loving kindness. Karuna, compassionate. Mudita, altruistic joy. Upekha, equanimity. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. So the 4 sublime qualities begin with metta. Then the 10 perfections. Dana, Sīla, Nekkamma, Paññā, Viriya, Khanti, Sacca, Aditthana, Metta, Upekha. So metta is one of the 10 perfections that one has to cultivate. Whoever aspiring for enlightenment, metta is one way or one of the factors that person has to cultivate. And metta in one of the meditation objects to practice and develop. So metta can be adopted and practiced. And the second method is metta to arise as a byproduct of vipassana. When people are into vipassana, insight meditation, they are clarifying themselves out of those negative energies, negative defilements, anger, hatred, jealousy, and negative accumulations are gradually extracted, removed, undeposited out of them with vipassana. And when they are removing these negativities, this positive metta, positive love, unconditional love will arise in him as a byproduct. As a byproduct. Even sometimes without any intention of developing metta, this metta will naturally arise. Naturally arise. So it is there within us. Already it is there. Only thing, those negative energies are hindering them, controlling them. Negative energies are more stronger than the positive energies of metta. So these negative energies are hindering the surfacing or coming onto the surface of metta. That's why we don't feel it. So these 2 methods are something you can practice. Metta through vipassana as a byproduct, and through samatha as an adoption of an object. Metta can be adopted and practiced in whatsoever manner. If somebody practices, he can aspire or he can receive, he will receive those 11 benefits which is explained in the Metta Nisansa Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya. Yeah. And he will be benefited by those 11 factors of metta. So these are the facts about metta. I explained to you today before we enter into the sutta. So with this, we conclude this Dhamma talk.